Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
Always a pleasure to host with you.
It is, James. It's a privilege to be sitting here with you and talking to the community once again.
Yeah, we've got a great show on today. Mr. Richard Samuel is going to be joining us.
Yes, he is growing his business, Growing Indy. We're going to see what he has to say as it relates to Growing Indy.
Yeah.
But we have a guest soloist today. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Minister Daryl Harris of Integrity Worship is going to bless you with a musical selection. Before we get started on today, I know that you're going to be blessed, so stay tuned right here on Real People, Real Voices. We'll be back after this.
Hallelujah. We want the glory of the Lord to rise among us. Glory to his name. Listen, let the glory of the Lord, let it rise among us. Let the glory of the Lord, let it rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Whew. Listen, let the glory of the Lord, let it rise among us. Let the glory of the Lord, let it rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Oh, 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 let it rise. Oh, and oh, 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 let it rise. Listen, let the praises of our King, let it rise among us. Let the praises of our King, let it rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Oh, let the praises of our King, let it rise among us. Let the praises of our King, let it rise among us. Let the praises of our King, let it rise among us. Let it rise. And oh, let it rise. Oh, and oh, let it rise. Oh, listen, let the song of the Lord, let it rise among us. Let the song of the Lord, let it rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Hallelujah. Come on. Let the song of the Lord, let it rise among us. Let the song of the Lord, let it rise among us. Let the praises of our King, let it rise among us. Let it rise. Oh, Jesus, yes. Oh, 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 let it rise. And oh, 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 let it rise. Yeah. Oh, let the dance of the Lord, let it rise among us. Let the dances of the Lord, let it rise among us. Let the praises of our King, let it rise among us. Let it rise. Hey, yeah. Let the dance of the Lord, let it rise among us. Oh, let the dance of the Lord, let it rise among us. Let the praises of our King, let it rise among us. Let it rise. Hey, hey, hey. And oh, 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 let it rise. Oh, Jesus, oh, come Come on. And let it rise. Hey. Hey. We want you to rise, Jesus. We want you to rise in our praises, Lord. And let it rise. Oh, let the dance of the Lord, let it rise among us. Let the dance of the Lord, let it rise among us. Let the praise of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Hey, oh, 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 let it rise. Whoa, 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 let it rise, let it rise. And whoa, whoa, let it rise. Oh, and whoa, let it rise. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Glory to your name.
Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
Co-host Pastor Wayne Moore.
I want to make sure that you can get all of the shows. If you missed this one, well, of course, you're watching this one, but if you've missed others, go to our YouTube channel on WHMB Channel 40 and tune in.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for you to catch up on what you didn't get a chance to see. We have a great log of shows on YouTube. You need to check them out.
And today we have a special guest, Mr. Richard Samuels.
Yes.
Of Growing Indy.
Yes.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I watch you guys all the time.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
You've got a lot of great work going on. You're a broadcaster, incredible testimony. Share with our audience with what you're doing.
Well, I formerly was incarcerated for 26 years. Came home and wanted to do something different with my life. Was fortunate enough to run across a few mentors that led me in the right direction, and started Growing Indy, organization for ex-offenders. It's reentry based. What we do is provide information and education for guys coming home from incarceration. And what we have is a radio show called Growing Indy Reentry Radio Show. And what we do is we provide that information, but we also reach out to the community, the police, the clergy, just a multitude of individuals, and pair them with the information that they can share as to resources for the ex-offenders coming home.
Yeah. Well, you know what's amazing is that, as I understand it, we have thousands of folks who reenter society, of course, in this city and other cities across America. The recidivism rate is high.
Yes.
But not only have you been able to continue moving forward, but now you're contributing. You've got a lot of great things going on, impacting lives. What's some of the greatest obstacles? Some call them returning citizens. Mm-hmm. What are some of the greatest obstacles those kind of folks are facing when they come back?
Well, I think one of the major obstacles that doesn't get enough press is the mental health issue. When people return from, it doesn't really matter how long you've been incarcerated. When people come from something that is traumatic as incarceration, you need to have someone to talk to. And unfortunately, that's not something that's a given. You're thrown back into society basically to say, okay, now go back to what you were doing. Unfortunately, you can't forget where you've been. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you bring some of that with you. And I think that therein sometimes leads to the recidivism rate as far as going back.
Richard, if I might call you Richard.
Yes.
How successful is this reentry program? For the last 2 to 3 years, it has been strongly emphasized. I feel that the reentry program has not had enough resources placed into it in order to make it work and to be successful. What is this? What are you seeing in reentry as it relates to success?
It's
dollars and success.
Right, and it's interesting that you bring that up, Dr. Moore, because year in and year out, organizations are given large amounts of money in the name of reentry. And it seems like to me the problem is getting worse as opposed to getting better. Unfortunately, what tends to happen is the dollars that go to reentry go to
It's administration.
administrative costs, absolutely. And therefore, the clients are not actually getting the benefit of the dollar amounts that are actually given out. And it's unfortunate. I know when I came home, and I won't mention any organizations, but I went through at least 3 or 4 organizations that took my information because, of course, when you fill out the application, therein is their way to say, we've served someone.
Yeah.
But then I wait for a phone call and hope that you get back with me.
Well, that's the trick of data.
Exactly, because then the data drives the amount of money that
Right.
the organizations receive. Unfortunately, the client suffers because we're waiting for a phone call, we're waiting for someone to get back with us. And the one thing that I always tell the gentlemen and young ladies that I talk to that are returning citizens is don't wait for someone to do something for you. You have to get out here and do it yourself.
Yeah, that's interesting because a lot of those forms, I've seen some of them, and they do say how many people served.
Yes.
And it would appear that folks were helped, and I'm sure that sometimes they do get help.
To a certain degree.
But too often, I think the form might get filled out, and then the people are underserved.
And they move on to the next because numbers, it's a numbers game.
It's a driven thing.
Yes.
You need to be commended, though. 26 years of incarceration. Came out, found out you couldn't get help, so God designed you to start helping other people with Grow Indy, I believe it is.
Growing Indy, absolutely.
And tell us more about Grow Indy.
Well, it's interesting. The radio show is just a platform to provide the information. We've had some wonderful guests on our show. We've had the Marion County Clerk. We've had the police chiefs. We've had several people who are community-minded. And we do that so that our listening audience can understand that, hey, not only do you have to get out here and do it yourself, but there are avenues and places that you can go and resources and service providers that you may not know about. And so that's basically what we do as far as the radio show is concerned. I have been so blessed, and that's all I can say. From the radio show, I met and conversed with quite a few other organizations. I am now the board chairman for Community Action of Greater Indianapolis.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. But in saying that, I say that because someone told me something when I came home, gave me a bit of great information, and it was just because you're an ex-offender or returning citizen does not mean that you deserve a seat at the table. And at first, when I first heard that, I kind of took offense. And I was like, well, I'm trying to be at the table and I want to help and talk about my experiences because I think that you understanding my experiences may help you understand reentry and what's necessary. But they gave me a really good clue and they told me that, what are you bringing to the table? Okay, just you sitting at the table means nothing, but what are you bringing? And so with that information, what I did was I had to reevaluate myself and say, okay, well, what do I have to offer? And so I joined the Marion County Reentry Coalition and learned more about reentry and what it takes to do policy and that type of thing. And there's just so many people that are involved, people from DOC, people from the probation officers. You know, I didn't want to get into anybody's names, but there's just so many people that are involved, and you just run into so many great people that are trying to do the right things by reentry. But understanding that you have to have something to bring to the table. And so now, as I sit at the table, not only do I have the radio show to say, hey, look, I can provide a media outlet, but also I can make sure that the message for reentry is out there.
When we come back, generally every organization has a signature program that they're really, really proud of. And when we come back, we want to talk about that. I want you to stay tuned right here on Real People, Real Voices. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
We want to make sure that if you have missed any of the shows, or if you want to see this one over again, go to our YouTube channel at WHMB Channel 40 on the World Wide Web. Also, like us on Facebook. I think you'll be interested in what we have there. Mr. Samuels doing a great job. Before the break, we talked about every organization has something that they can really be proud of, a signature program. Is that followed through with your organization?
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, as Community Action of Greater Indianapolis, and our subsidiary is our reentry program is Growing Indy, we are about to do some wonderful things in 2017. The Hope Center is one of the jewels that are happening in the city of Indianapolis. It's on the far east side, and I'm telling you, it is an aftercare for trafficked women from the sex trade, and they have just acquired a 25-acre plot of land with a huge facility sitting on it that is going to do wonders for the city of Indianapolis. It's going to be the largest institution of its kind in the world. It should be up and running in the next couple of months, and just God has his hands all over this, and he has blessed Reverend Hubert Nolan with this property. And what we're looking to do is to watch Reverend Nolan put these pieces of this puzzle together, and we feel that we may be able to do something similar on the west side of town for men, returning citizens, for men coming home from incarceration.
You said the largest in the world.
In the world.
Which implies that there's not enough attention on this.
210,000 square feet facility. There's not enough attention. Too many women are being trafficked, domestic violence. Women just affected by violence of any kind will be eligible to go to this facility. What they will do is intake them for 90 days in one portion, move them after 90 days to another portion, which is a more luxurious step up, and they will be there for about a year. And then once they finish the program, I mean, there are just places for education. There's 30 offices.
Wraparound
I mean, it is wraparound completely. And it's just a wonderful facility. As a matter of fact, I'm looking forward to taking some of the people on our KG board on a tour of the facility. And I'm telling you, I went a couple of weeks ago and I was floored. My mouth dropped open, and that's the thing that I've been talking about ever since I've been there.
Wow.
That's phenomenal.
210,000
square feet, and
of
it's
hope.
Of hope,
That's right.
Under a roof.
Absolutely.
And you can go in one way and come out another.
Oh, and not only come out, but I think the incentive is for the ladies who complete the process is to come back now and then to become the den mothers, because they will have mothers that live on premises. I mean, this facility is so huge, everybody's live-in. And so you're getting wraparound attention 24 hours a day.
You have an apartment complex inside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Major ministry.
Yes, yes.
It's phenomenal to be able to get women that kind of help. We need to do something, as you say, as it relates to men.
And if anyone
reentry,
is interested in logging onto the websites to see what they're doing. It's www.hopecenterindy.com.
Give that again. It needs to be given again.
www.hopecenterindy.com.
So how can churches and other faith organizations partner with what Growing Indy is doing and with what the Hope Center is doing?
As Community Action of Greater Indianapolis, which is the parent organization, we are looking to partner with not only faith-based organizations, but any organization that has anything to do with reentry. And in 2017, we are looking to change the game. There are a lot of things that are going on that are just the norm, and we're going to kind of break those barriers down and do something different. What we want to do is take all of our individual board members and utilize their spheres of influence, because we have a very diverse board of directors at Community Action, and what we'd like to do is to see our board members take a more active role in reaching out to other organizations with people that they know and they're, like I said, their sphere of influence, and make sure that we are connected with the right people. We are blessed to have Alan Henderson, the former Indiana star
Right.
and NBA player, on our board. We're hoping that he can and possibly open up some doors with maybe the Pacer organization, the Colts, and as far as athletics. We've got a couple of lawyers on our board, and we've got some politicians on our board as well. Vop Osley is our vice chair. So we're definitely looking to move and shake in areas that we haven't in the past, and hopefully be able to open some doors that way.
That's all right.
Yeah. So you plan to do some economic development as well?
And a lot of fundraising.
Yeah.
A lot of fundraising.
Well, it's much needed in our community. A lot's going on. Where can people tune in and listen to you?
RadioNext.tv, and I would be remiss to not mention Mr. Harold H.B. Bell.
My friend.
Yes, he has been
Our
doing
friend.
great work in the community. Definitely was one of the first people when I came home to reach out to me as a mentor and give me an opportunity. When he saw me, well, he actually had to push me to get in front of the mic the first time, and ever since it really flowed, and really we worked well together. And I'm telling you, he is a man all about all community all the time is his motto, and so I'm just so happy to just know him as a man and as someone who has helped me along in my career.
He's not afraid to speak his mind either,
Not
is he?
at all, not at all.
HB.
That
HB.
means you know him well.
Yes, yes. He's not afraid to, like a lot of people, well, I just have to say it and be honest, who are in high places.
Yes.
But HB is one who really, and I have to give him kudos right here on our show. He's one that's not afraid to talk about the community and its ills.
Well, hoping to hear more in the community about the success of your programs, the Hope Center, Growing Indy, and all that you're doing. I think is outstanding.
You know, Reverend Jackson, there are so many people who are doing wonderful things in our community that don't get recognized, and I just think that it's a shame. We have Kim Boyd and the Hope team. Also the work that she's doing with MLK Center. There are just a plethora of people who never get mentioned, and I think that if I could say anything, that with all the negativity that we see on television,
right.
People take the time to go to your community and look for those who are doing wonderful things in the community, because you will be surprised at what you'll find.
Well, keep up the good work. And Dr. Moore, looks like we're just about out of time.
Yeah, we are. He's done a great job. Keep up the good work, Richard. We'll be praying for you, and happy to have you on our show.
Well, thank you both for having me, and I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thank you for joining us again. We really appreciate it. Please be sure to tune in next time. Tell your family, relatives, associates, and neighbors, real people, real voices on the air. We'll see you next time.